Hey, what's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to focus on some of the best tips and tricks that you need to know in order to succeed in Remnant from the Ashes. So, first thing, once you defeat the Root Mother, she comes here. And I think keeping your healing items as high as you possibly can is a must. So, purchasing a Dragon Shard every time you get a Simulacrum is imperative to your success. So you can see at the bottom of the screen, 7 healing items next to the LB button. And you need to keep those as high as you possibly can if you want to succeed. In the beginning of the game, you don't have a ton of healing items, so in the beginning especially, it's even more important. This woman right here, as you go through your playthrough, she will give you galvanized iron, forged iron, and regular iron, and you can even buy some luminite crystals. The thing is that in order to use these items, I think you have to acquire them once in the natural world before you can actually get them. So that requires all of your gear to be a certain level. But it's not expensive. Pay attention to the prices. For iron, it's only 10 scrap, and for galvanized iron, it's only 50, and for forged iron, it's only 25. I made the mistake of farming these irons, and it cost me probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours of my life, when I could have just farmed scrap instead and just bought these things super quick. So that is something that I would say you definitely want to pay attention to. You want to be buying these because they sell them so cheap that you don't really need to farm.
Oh there.
This guy right here sells you all of your consumables.
Only the best.
In my experience, adrenaline's kind of useless. I almost used these when I would find them just to sell them. Adrenaline, I just don't think it's that great. Ammo boxes are huge. I like ammo boxes for fights where you're getting low on bullets and you don't feel like killing the ads. You just want to focus the boss down. You just pop an ammo box and you can keep the pressure up. Bandages reduces the bleeding effect, so if you're bleeding, you use these. Bloodworts, I stocked up on a lot of bloodworts. These are nice, too, if you're in a pinch. This is all kind of self-explanatory, though. That's not necessarily something that's you absolutely have to know. I think paying attention to the weapon mods is really important. If we go over to the shotgun... This shotgun right here, if we go through the mods, this hot shot is really good. It increases your damage by 20%, and that basically means that whatever my shotgun would do in terms of damage per shot, it's gonna do a 20% additional damage, and then when I crit, we're gonna do, you know, the crit multiplier on the 20% extra damage. So if you do like 1.5 times damage, and I crit for, and I hit for like 300 a shot, when I put this on, I might hit for, you know, what's 20% of 300? It'd be an additional 60 damage. So it'd be 360 damage times 1.5, which would then, what is 360 divided by 2? I think we're at 18, so that'd be 180. So add 180 to 360, and you're critting for 520. So if you're critting for 520, that takes out some of the... Even the guys with the most health go down quick when Hot Shot is active. Very good skill. I used it pretty much the entire game. Breath of the Desert, you get this later on in the game. It's really nice. You shoot this and it shoots out these radiation particles that do a ton of damage. It's really good for controlling crowds. But these are all kind of items that you get later on in the game. I want to talk about this Rattleweed. You get this relatively early in the game. At least I think if you fight a specific boss. But it's really good. Like, if you throw a Rattleweed on the ground, all the enemies attack that instead of attacking you. And sometimes just having all the guys line up in one spot for you to just kill them is super easy. And it's actually worth not increasing your damage or anything. It just keeps you alive. Then if we go into... Like, this gunslinger charm, I think, is like one of the very first things they gave me. It's just like increases your firing rate by 10% and reload speed by 20%. It's by far the best brooch out of all of them. I don't remember where I got that, but it's really, really solid. If we go into traits, in the very beginning of the game, you're going to want to focus on this, is get your vigor up as high as you can. I do the same thing in all the Dark Souls and Bloodborns and those type of games. Just get your health to a level where you're not going to just start dying all the time. Because in these types of games, just being alive is more important than killing things super quickly in the very beginning, because you just want to accrue all the resources that you're going to get by going through the levels. So it's more important to stay alive. Get the vigor. Stamina was important for me in the very beginning too, because your guy was, in the very beginning at least, the stamina bar is the white bar underneath. He doesn't run very far before he runs out of stamina if you don't upgrade your stamina. So I added an additional 20 points to my stamina bar, which probably increased its size by, I would say, to like 20%. So that made it really nice for traversing environments and for just getting out of a bad situation. You have to get a few points in endurance. But vigor first, then endurance. What other ones? I think glutton and quick hands are probably some of the most important ones in the game. Quick hands is a no-brainer. You want to be able to reload fast and keep fighting if things get crazy. And the same thing happens for when you need to heal. If you need to heal and someone's on you immediately, you have to get that heal out before you die. So a faster heal is, again, a no-brainer. In the very beginning of the game, you heal so incredibly slowly, but with glutton, it's not that bad. Executioner, that's way down the line, but obviously you can see that I value critting a lot. And then the next one I'm going to get is going to be the Kingslayer, and then my crits are going to just absolutely destroy when I go off. Let's see here. And this is what I think is the most important thing. If I had to reroll all my trait points, Scavenger and Elder Knowledge for a reroll are probably the best things you can do, because experience point bonus and then scrap boost are huge. This will keep you well stocked. You'll always have enough money to buy any irons that you need from that lady, and this will keep your traits pumping in. So once you get Elder Knowledge and Scavenger to 20, everything else is just going to pick up like crazy. So those two really important. And then is when you're fighting, it's way easier to aim down. If you're aiming down at your enemies, their faces are aiming up at you, so it's really easy for you to get headshots. So if you ever find yourself in a bind, sometimes just running upstairs and then just aiming down will give you the advantage you need to overcome an part if it's actually difficult for you. Alright, so guys, this is what I wanted to show you is, when you play this game, your starting class is something that you should really focus on. So, the Scrapper has advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is that if you get up close and personal with the shotgun, you're going to do a ton of damage. But you don't do any damage to these guys from far away. Like, you just don't. You don't even hit them. And that isn't an issue always, but you're gonna run into bosses where the boss is gonna be far away from you and there's nothing you can do with the shotgun. The very last boss in particular is really bad for that. You can't, I almost don't even know if you can beat the final boss with the shotgun. Like, you can do it, I'm sure you can do it, but it's gonna be like a massive pain. The rifle gives you such damage from far away that it's like a no-brainer. The dead zone in this game is so bad. And then you've got the in-between. You've got the range with the hunting rifle, which is really nice. And I think if you want the best of both worlds, you get the damage and you get a little bit of range, you go with the battle rifle type weapons. So that's a 3-shot burst with a medium range to go with. So you do a little more damage when you're close than you do with the rifle, but you don't do as much as the shotgun. But you're better from far away too. Now, you can't snipe necessarily from far away, but this level is also super under-leveled for me. This is like the wheelhouse right there. Yeah, it's like perfect. So this is the in-between gun. The shotgun forces you to get up close and personal, and the rifle is the best from far away. Now, I think that if you're going to start a new file and you want to go through this game with as little hiccups as possible, I think you go with the whatever class starts with the 3-shot burst. I think that would be the best. The rifle's really good too. I would go with that, and the rifle are probably the best for just running through this game. I think that the shotgun has its opportunities to really wreck certain bosses and to do a ton of damage, but it also handicaps you later on. That being said, on this playthrough, I upgraded my shotgun to plus 15 early, and then I needed to get my hunting rifle to plus 15 for the final boss because I just wasn't killing him with the shotgun. It was gonna be a nightmare. So this is what I think you do. I think you get the shotgun if you're gonna go that route, upgraded, and you keep the hunting rifle close behind it. That way, if you need another gun that does damage from afar, you're not totally screwed, because if you don't do this and you only have a shotgun, you're gonna have to farm for like 2 hours to be able to progress if you run into a bar that's just not good for up close encounters, and there's a few of them throughout the game. So that is where I want to finish with that. I think that's about all we need to go through at this point. I do have a tip for you guys. If you're ever playing a game where the map is procedurally generated and everything's different for you, one of my buddies taught me this technique. You can just run across the map and just hug the right side of the map the entire time, and eventually you'll explore the entire level. So if you ever get lost and think hey, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, and you start looking at your mini-map and there's a ton of different areas you haven't explored and you want to make sure you get through everything, you just hug the map directly to the right. So I'll just stay along this wall, and then when the wall shifts, I'll hug it further, and then I literally can't miss anything that way. So you can see that, okay, so this, I'll go here now, and then you just keep hugging the wall all the way across. And this is the best way to find secrets and stuff, too. If you're really thorough while doing this and you check every nook and cranny, I mean, it's almost impossible to hide anything from you. So that's a good way to go through exploring these levels and just keeping mental notes on where you've been and what you've done. I think when it comes to consumables, or your scrap and upgrading, I think upgrading your weapons is more important than upgrading your armor, but I think upgrading your armor is important too. You can see here 77 armor on my helmet versus 56.8 on this helmet right here, and it's this one, the plus 8 is a little heavier, so this is probably more this one probably has more armor on it at the same level, but because of the upgrades, it's got a ton of armor on it, which reduces the damage you take by a lot, which I think is really nice. So you got to pay attention to those things, and you also got to pay attention to the weight. You have weight on your armor, and if your armor weighs a lot, then that's going to stop you from being able to roll as much as you would like. Prime example right here is this Void Armor set. I was so excited when I got the Void Armor set, but then I realized how heavy it was, and it was a total joke. It takes like a third of my stamina, and your animations are like 15% longer. So even though your character looks awesome in the armor and they have a ton of armor for the level that they're currently at, the weight alone makes them not a viable product to actually use. And these set bonuses right here on the right side, the second you lose the set bonus for the third piece, it makes it not worth it. So you pretty much have to roll with an entire set. You can't World of Warcraft this and be like, well, I want the boots and I want the helmet and I'm gonna put on the osseous husk. It's like, nah, that doesn't work, because then you're getting the 2-piece bonus and the 1-piece bonus, and you're not getting the tier 3 bonus, and you just can't really, like, that. I don't justify the value of 2 of these with slightly more armor over breaking the set piece bonus of this would be, you know, with 3 pieces, 25 bonus damage after 7 seconds of killing an enemy. So, yeah. Also, one final note before we stop here. They upgraded the Scrapper armor, which is the starting armor for the shotgun class, and they made it so strong that I don't understand why they did this, but Increases damage dealt to all enemies within 5 meters by 25%. I mean, that's crazy. 5 meters, if I had to guess in this game what 5 meters is, it's like there. So if anybody's like within, you know, shotgun deadly range, is going to take a ton of damage from you as the Scrapper class, which is really nice. But it almost, if you're going to be rocking the shotgun real hard, it almost makes no sense to not do anything else or wear any other armor for that matter. So a little bit of a bummer that they actually did that, but not the end of the world by any means. So yeah, I think we're good here. We're going to stop now. And I'm going to try to re-roll and see what happens on this playthrough. But if I don't like it, this may be the end of Remnant from the Ashes. So if you're liking the content that I'm producing, like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Discord. But if not, I'll see you in the next game. Later, guys.